say if you die in a dream, you die in real life. But what happens if you're trapped in someone else's dream and they die, leaving you stranded in the decaying void of their rotting nightmares? Throughout internet history, countless creepypastas have emerged, crafted to entertain, terrify, and captivate audiences all around the world. Yet among them, one stands out, one more sinister, unnerving, and unforgettable than the rest. Gamers, dreamers, and horror fans alike, this is the story behind the internet's scariest Mario creepypasta. I still remember the day the Nintendo DS launched.
Touch the bottom rectangle. Please. Go ahead. Touch it.
The Nintendo DS was more than just a console. It was a revolution in handheld gaming. With its dual screens and innovative touch controls, it invited us to interact with games in ways we'd never imagined before. And with over 150 million units sold, the DS wasn't just a gaming system. It was a worldwide phenomenon.
But I think we are most proud of this.
I'll never forget those days playing Mario Kart with my friends on the way to ball games, or fighting with my cousins over which virtual Nintendo was mine. The DS brought us together in ways no console had before. And it wasn't just about the games either. It was about the possibilities. Nintendo's touch controls introduced a whole new audience to gaming. Suddenly, my grandparents were playing Zelda. My mom was stomping on Koopas. And I was creating artistic masterpieces in PictoChat. The DS was the console that truly had something for everyone. But just when we thought Nintendo had reached its peak, they changed the game once again. In 2011, Nintendo launched the 3DS, a sequel to the greatest handheld device of all time. With its glasses-free 3D display and enhanced graphics, the 3DS wasn't just a minor improvement. It was a whole new generation of handheld gaming. It brought new layers of immersion to titles like Mario Kart and Ocarina of Time, redefining what we thought was possible on a portable console. Plus, its backwards compatibility ensured no one had to say goodbye to our favorite DS memories. But, as the years went by, many of us had moved on, leaving those memories tucked away like a forgotten dream. But within that dream, there's one adventure that stands out, a journey that celebrates the heart of what made the 3DS so special. Mario & Luigi Dream Team isn't just another RPG. It's a celebration of the brotherhood that defines the series. The story begins with the brothers being invited to the picturesque Pilo Island. But, as is often the case, their vacation is cut short when a sinister entity curses the land, trapping the Pilo people within their dreams. To save the day, Mario and Luigi must work together, navigating both the real world and the surreal landscapes of Luigi's dreams. At its heart, Dream Team is a story about brotherhood and unshakable bonds. It's a game that reminds us why we fell in love with Mario and Luigi in the first place. No matter what, Luigi always has Mario's back, proving that their brotherhood will always prevail. But beneath this joyful journey lies an even darker tale. A story crafted not by Nintendo, but by the chilling imagination of one individual fan. The Mario Dream Team Creepypasta is one of, if not the scariest Mario creepypasta I've ever read. Created by artist and writer Triki-Troy, the story first surfaced on Newgrounds on April 21st, 2023. It wasn't just the story that caught people's attention though, it was the disturbing artwork that accompanied it. The haunting, decayed imagery of Mario trapped inside Luigi's rotting mind brings the story to life in ways that very few creepypastas have. The story follows Mario, desperately searching for an escape, lost in the decaying remnants of Luigi's subconscious after Luigi's sudden death. At first glance, you might think this is just another creepypasta, but I promise you, this is something different. It's disturbing, heartbreaking, and horrifying in ways that are impossible to forget. I will explain why afterwards, but first, let me tell you the story. Initially, everything seemed normal. Mario and Luigi were in the middle of a battle in the dream world, but then something changed. Luigi suddenly collapsed, his body hitting the ground with a dead thud. Mario immediately rushed to his side, calling his name, but Luigi wasn't responding. Moments later, the battlefield itself began to shift. The very fabric of the dream world was collapsing in on itself, warping into something Dreambert, the game's guide, couldn't even explain. None of this was supposed to happen. The battlefield then began to implode, and colors of the dream began bleeding into one another. And then, everything went black. When Mario came to, the familiarity and safety of Luigi's dream world was gone. There were no more floating platforms, no more bright landscapes. He wasn't even sure this was a dream anymore. Everything was pale, eerie, and silent. But Mario soon noticed he wasn't alone. To his horror, he found bodies, dozens, no hundreds, laying scattered across the void, unmoving. It was a sea of identical, lifeless Luigi clones, the Luiginoids, as they're called. But through the decaying mass, his real brother, the real Luigi, was nowhere to be found. Panic settled in. Mario ran through the empty expanse, searching, calling out. And then in the distance, he saw him. Luigi. He was lying still, face down and motionless. Mario sprinted towards him, desperate to find his brother safe and alive. But something was very wrong. As he got closer, Mario noticed something unusual with Luigi's face. It was blurred, unnaturally blurred, like a distorted image of wisps or smoke. His features flickered, his mouth twisted unnaturally, and his skin was darkening with patches of something rotting. Mario dropped to his knees, shaking Luigi, pleading for him to wake up and snap out of this nightmare. But before he could process the horror in front of him, the Luiginoids began to move. Slowly and stiffly, one by one, they started to rise. At first, they just stood there, staring directly at Mario. Then their heads twitched, their bodies jerking unnaturally. Mario turned back to Luigi. His face was even worse now, almost completely unrecognizable. Then a sound pierced Mario's ears, a weak rasping voice from behind. It was one of the Luiginoids. Mario froze, before another one whispered his name, then another. The whispering grew louder, overlapping, their voices hollow and unnatural. And then, the scream. It was a bone-chilling, distorted wail that paralyzed Mario in fear. And before he knew it, the Luigi-noids were storming towards him. Mario didn't think twice. He snatched Luigi's limp body and hurried away. The world around him warped as he sprinted, the white void twisting into grotesque shapes, flickering between memories of Luigi's past, all displayed in nightmare form for Mario to bear witness. But no matter where he turned, the clones were behind him, relentlessly on his tail. This wasn't a dream anymore. It was the subconscious of Luigi's mind, a dead one, and Mario was trapped inside the collapsing and rotting remnants of his dead brother's brain. By the time the story ends, Mario is left running for his life from the Luigi-noids. Luigi, the real Luigi, is slipping further and further away, and the remnants of his mind are spiraling into something unrecognizable. This is where the story leaves us. No closure, no escape, no answers. Just a slow, inevitable decay. But why does the story feel different from every other Mario creepypasta? Well, that's because this isn't just some haunted game, an EXE, or a cursed cartridge. This is a story about death, about painful memories, about what happens to those left behind. And that, my friends, is what makes this creepypasta so damn real and so damn disturbing. Mario is still alive by the end of the story, but at what cost? Even in other Mario creepypastas, there's usually some sort of resolution, a clear antagonist, a way to fight back, a conclusion that ties everything together. Hell, even death itself has been a common resolution in most stories. But in this one, no, this is different. The horror of the Mario Dream Team creepypasta doesn't come from blood, gore, or even Troy's artwork. It comes from something psychological. This is a story about watching someone you love slowly decay. Mario isn't just trapped in a nightmare. He's watching his brother die in real time. The world around him isn't haunted. It's rotting, reflecting Luigi's dying mind and his real-life body decomposing just outside the veil of the dream world. There's no villain to defeat, no way to fight back. Just Mario, alone and trapped, watching the brother he's always relied on slip away forever. And the most heartbreaking part of it all is that there's nothing he can do to stop it. And that, everybody, is the real horror. Mario's journey through his brother's final memories mirrors the feeling of grief, loss, and helplessness. We've seen creepypastas tackle these emotions before, but rarely do we see it done this well through the lens of a beloved childhood game. Even though it came out in 2023, I didn't come across this creepypasta until more recently. And once I did, it hit me like a truck. I wasn't alone either. On Newgrounds, where the story was first published, commenters praised Triki-Troy's work as a bold new type of Mario horror. One person even called it analog horror if it was done right. It's not just scary, it's emotionally devastating. Most readers described feeling sadness, dread, and a deep sense of unease. It leaves you with this strange, heavy grief I can't quite explain. It feels like something's been ripped away from your soul, and now you're stuck sitting alone in the silence. In other online spaces, fans of the Mario and Luigi games found the premise genuinely captivating. A tragic what-if scenario that Nintendo would obviously never dare to explore. The absence of gore or blood and the focus on psychological horror earned this narrative a lot of respect. It's a creepypasta that stays with you long after you finished reading it. Haunting not just because it's scary, but haunting because it's devastatingly real. But the story's reach didn't end quite there, because some nightmares just refuse to die. From the twisted halls of the Dream Team world to the endless deserts of Luigi's subconscious, a new presence is stirring. What began as a dream is now decaying into something far more haunting and playable. Mario Dream Team White Echoes is an upcoming game developed by Syntax and their creative team. This project reimagines the original emotional journey of what made the creepypasta by Triki-Troy so unforgettable. You play as Mario, following the fading footprints and distant echo of a dying Luigi. It starts off like the original DS game, but through broken dreams and twisted worlds, this is an emotionally crafted narrative of its own. Syntax and their team are carrying forward the spirit of both this creepypasta and the cancelled project Mario Dream Team Noir, originally developed by a separate group. For more information, I've included links in the description. Please make sure to support these incredible and dedicated artists.
We are going to save her and get out of here. Let's go.
In the end, what makes Mario Dream Team so unforgettable isn't found in ghosts, demons, or anything supernatural. The true antagonist here is death itself, an unstoppable force that robs Mario of every shred of hope. Death isn't something he can simply stomp on. It's an enemy no one can overcome. This creepypasta forces us to confront that primal fear, our own helplessness in the face of mortality. And that fear of death doesn't stay a metaphor in this story. It becomes the nightmare itself. Remember how I said if you die in a dream, you die in real life? Well, what this story suggests is far more disturbing. It states that if you're trapped in someone else's dream, and they die while in said dream, you might just find yourself in a nightmare that never truly ends. But as always, thank you for watching, and good night.